Hey, what's good? Welcome to another episode of Not So Easy to Learn. I think that's my channel name, but today we're going to be talking about the stages of sleep. Now, this is just going to be what I know so far of it as I'm learning it in my class, and I have a midterm for this on Friday, so this is just kind of a brain dump. What's the word? Blurb, if you will, just going over all the information that I know, stating it out, and I'm also going to just be fact checking it with my class notes as well. So the information here should theoretically be correct, but you never know. I'm just a random guy who is not a tutor for psych right now, and yeah, we're just learning as we go. So, we got sleep, bro. Sleep is very important. We all sleep. We should all sleep. Not everyone sleeps, but we gotta sleep. Sleep is considered an altered state of consciousness, and regulation is mainly done by the hypothalamus. If you recall, we talked about that in our previous video as one of the parts of the brain. Specifically in the hypothalamus, it's the SCN. I don't know what that stands for, but it just signals the pineal gland to release melatonin, which makes us want to go to sleep. So that's kind of like how sleep occurs, but I'm just going to be talking about the stages of sleep. So we mainly have 4 stages of sleep, and I'll just be going more in depth into them as we go through them. So the first stage of sleep, this is called light sleep. Now, light sleep is light. Hopefully you were able to recall that. Not recall that, I mean just like deduce that. So light sleep, this is about 1 to 10 minutes. This is how long it lasts. And I'm going to just be talking about like kind of what waves are released, because that's what I need to know, and like what happens during that kind of stage of sleep in general, right? We're not going to be like going like crazy specific stuff like that, because I don't have that knowledge. I'm not a doctor. I'm not like some professional at this. I'm just a student who's also learning this as I go along. So first we got light sleep. What kind of waves are released? We got alpha waves. Now you might be wondering, what are alpha waves? Well, alpha waves, they are waves that are kind of like associated with relaxed or drowsy states. And then we also have beta waves. These are more about like being alert, awake kind of thing. So what happens in light sleep, the main goal of it is just to kind of transition these waves into theta waves. And these theta waves are more for like the sleeping waves, like the actual sleeping waves. So what's going to happen in light sleep is that these are going to be converted to theta waves. Theta waves. Very simple indeed. Now, that's like the main process of light sleep. Let me just make something. What does it do? Theta sleep. It's just a very deep state of relaxation. So I think that's what we'll call it here. Just wanted to make sure what that was. So now some things that can happen in this light sleep is things called like hypnic jerks or hypnagogic imagery. What this means is just like, when you're like falling asleep, and you kind of like rock forward and then you end up like jerking back up, like going back into like the position, like, kind of startling yourself. That's what it talks about with these kind of like hypnic jerks. If that kind of makes sense. It's just like when you're like in that process of falling asleep, but then you just like shake yourself up and you're like, oh shit, like I just almost fell asleep. That's basically what those are. So it's just like kind of like shaking up kind of thing. So now that is basically a very brief overview of light sleep. Let's move on to the next state. This is called deeper sleep, according to my prof's notes. Deeper sleep. Very, very nice intuitive names. So this will last about 10 to 25 minutes. And what this involves is that the brain waves, the heart rate, and the body temperature will all lower. So I'll just draw an arrow here. So brain waves, heart rate, and body temperature. So these will all lower in this kind of second stage of sleep. We'll also have muscle relaxation as well as eye movement will kind of stop. I'll just like abbreviate that. Stops. And what's present like in terms of waves and stuff? Well, we have some theta waves, but now with this we have some sleep spindles, and those are just 1 to 2 bursts, 1 to 2 second bursts of rapid brain activity. Plus some sleep spindles. And now just to do that, I'll just 1 to 2 seconds rapid brain activity. So yeah, that is basically the second stage. Now next we have stages 3 and 4. This is the way my prof taught it. It's just she combined 3 and 4. That was ugly. 3 and 4, and this will just be kind of the deepest sleep. And this will be about how long? Honestly, I don't even know how long this is going to be. I think it's just alternating in between. Like I'll get into that in a bit, but it's like we actually alternate between these stages. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's mainly 1 and 2 that happen first, but then 3 and 4, and then also REM, which we'll get into after. They alternate during our sleep. So I think this doesn't really have a specific time amount. It's just based on like, you know, how long we're actually like end up sleeping for. But I feel like deeper sleep and light sleep, those are both required as like specific times, because you know those are what we have to do in order to get to stages 3 and 4 and then REM in the end. So what happens in the deepest sleep? Well, we need to have the slow wave sleep. So I'm pretty sure that's theta waves, I believe. Yeah, it says it. We have some delta waves, but we have no spindles. So some delta waves, but no spindle. So spindles have completely become like absent, but we still have some delta waves going through. Now this slow wave sleep, deepest sleep, this is also known as slow wave sleep, is needed or is necessary to have that kind of restful sleep. You know, we could go into stages 1 and 2, but we won't feel like we rested during the night. We'll feel like we need to have the deepest sleep, like the slow wave sleep, in order to wake up feeling refreshed, feeling good, you know, like feeling like we actually had a good night's sleep. While 1 and 2 are just like, you know, kind of like quick recharges, but we won't necessarily feel recharged or rested from those stages 1 and 2. We need stages 3 and 4, or like slow wave sleep, in order to feel rested and refreshed in the morning. So that's why some people are like, the reason some people are able to, like, some people will go to sleep but they'll wake up tired is because they weren't able to get into these stages 3 and 4, or like of the slow wave sleep. So yeah, pretty important, this stage. Now what else is there? Now like stages 3 and 4, I guess we combine them together, but I guess we could go over like the main difference. Stage 3 has some delta with no spindle, like it'll have some delta waves, but stages 4, this will have all delta. It'll be purely delta waves. So yeah, that's stages 3 and 4, or what is called slow wave sleep, if you want a better name for it. And now finally we have stage 5, or not really chronological anymore, but we have REM sleep. This is rapid eye movement. Now, how should I go about this? Well, you know, we got rapid eye movement, and with that rapid eye movement, our brain is active because of that. And that's why it's considered like it's if we were to consider these as waves, they're not specifically called, but if we were to consider them, we would call these beta waves. And if you recall, beta waves are what are alert and awake. So our brain is like very active during this time, which kind of goes against the whole sleeping thing. And in order to like counter that, we have to paralyze our body when we are in REM sleep. Because if our body is not paralyzed, then we'll end up moving around, and that's not good. So paralyzed body or like muscles, so that we don't start running around when we're sleeping, because that's not good. So yeah, now these are cycles of 20 minutes to an hour. I don't really think that's really too important, but yeah. So the way we sleep is that we change throughout the night. We'll like, if we're very sleep deprived, we'll have more stages 3 and 4. But if we have more adequate sleep, then we'll have REM sleep. Like the way it works is like if we have like a timeline of sleep, right? We'll have more kind of like deep sleep, and then we'll go into REM, but then we'll have some deep sleep and then REM, and then it'll just keep on getting shorter cycles kind of thing, because we'll need less deep sleep and we'll have more REM kind of thing like that. So that is kind of what the basic stages of sleep are. We have dreams and all that stuff, but that's locally complicated as well. So maybe I won't get into all of that. Yeah, this is just a brief overview, and yeah, that's pretty much all.